John Edmondson Brent is a famous Buffalo architect. His work can be found across the Queen City of Buffalo, New York. His intelligence and determination to explore the world of architecture has left a lasting impression on history. Not only did Mr. Brent change the physical landscape of Buffalo, but the social and cultural one as well. John E. Brent was born on 1889 and died in 1962. John was named after his grandfather, who was born a slave and later purchased his own freedom, and that of his wife, eventually making their way to the national's capital. According to architect Robert Tranham Coles, who wrote a biographical sketch about John E. Brent for the African American Architects, a biographical dictionary, 1865 through 1945, published in 2004. Washington, D.C. was one of the most sophisticated cities of the Black culture. His parents were Albertine Jones and Calvin Brent. His father was the first working Black architect in Washington, D.C., our nation's capital. Many of Calvin's work can still be viewed in D.C., including the breathtaking St. Luke's Episcopal Church at 15th and Church Street. John excelled as a student and successfully graduated from D.C. public schools. In 1904, John attended Tuskegee Institute, which was created by the famous Booker T. Washington as a way to offer African Americans an avenue of opportunity. John began to follow in his father's footsteps as he studied architecture and earned his degree. When he returned to Washington, he taught for 2 years before going to Drexel Institute in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Soon after, John E. Brent moved to Buffalo and soon found working in the world of architecture. Mr. Brent's talent and ingenuity soon left its mark on Queen City, helping to design a new Hutchinson High School, today known as Hutch Tech. Perhaps Mr. Brent's most notable achievement was his dedication to designing and building a new YMCA for Buffalo. Mr. Brent not only showed his dedication to architecture and building the YMCA, but the people of Buffalo creating a space for future generations to find further opportunity. John not only had a lead in designing of a new YMCA to be built on Michigan Avenue, but also helped undersee the construction and facility and hiring of many skilled African Americans. Mr. Brent also had a skill for making the connections necessary to raise the money for his projects, including his relationship with George Matthews, owner of the Buffalo News, who helped establish the Booker T. Washington Endowment with 100,000 initial contributions in 1928. The Michigan Street YMCA stood for nearly 50 years, serving 3 generations of residents of Buffalo. It boasted a cafeteria, a swimming pool, a barbershop, a tailor shop, a gymnasium, a billiard tables, classrooms, and even dormitory rooms. The history of the Michigan Avenue YMCA plays an important role not only in the history of this amazing explorer, but in the history of Buffalo itself. Mr. Brent used his position as an architect and builder to become a member of the board of directors, fundraiser, consumer, and contributor. Upon its completion, Mr. Brent became involved with the YMCA for the rest of his life. Mr. Brent's commitment to his community and civil rights can be further seen when he became the first president of the Buffalo branch NAACP, which was founded in 1915. This year marks the centennial of the founding of Buffalo NAACP, an organization that Mr. Brent helped found, an organization who for the last 100 years has helped countless Buffalonians reach their human potential. From 1931 to 1934, Brent worked for the U.S. Department of Interior. Following Mr. Brent's return to Western New York, where the Buffalo Parks Department employed him, with him involved in the design of the Front Park, the Buffalo Zoological Gardens, and other public places. Buffalo Rising, an online publication, reported in 2013 that John Brent was one of the only 4 African American architects before the WW2 to be employed by a U.S. municipality. In 1958, Brent was recognized as the Man of the Year by the Negro Secretary of the Niagara Frontier. Following his death, he received recognition in Buffalo for the gates he produced for the Buffalo Zoological Gardens. the cast iron gates 3 and 4, produced in 1935, provided welcoming entrances to earlier zoo paths. The structures were listed on the National Register History of Places in 2013. Mr. Brent went on to have a successful career designing numerous buildings in Western New York, including the Myron McGurr Dental Offices, the Wales Hollow Camp, the new building for Cold Spring Baptist Church, and the Appomattox Clubhouse. In conclusion, not only was John E. Brent a man who explored the world of architecture, but a man who came up with the ideas to make Buffalo a better place to live.